The latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020. Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window and some very dramatic pictures up in Okanagan County. This is looking at the Pateros and Brewster area where the Methow River flows into the Columbia, and dark thunder clouds up north. And we are seeing those right here in the Wenatchee area as well. A few reports of even some lightning out there this afternoon. We did see the clouds move in and the winds pick up. It looks like it could have rained all afternoon. And once again, we have a chance for some shower activity. Let's take a look at the satellite picture, and this is where the clouds are, is right over us now. There are still some higher clouds off to the west and even some stronger thunderstorms to our east, especially over in the Idaho Panhandle and western Montana. But we could still see some activity tonight and then once again by the end of the weekend. And that's a little bit new information. We'll talk more about that coming up later in your weather forecast. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. Douglas County Sheriff Harvey Jesdahl has decided to retire 6 months early. Wenatchee and Leavenworth restaurateur Sean Smith is among 5 candidates hoping to succeed Chelan County District 2 Commissioner Keith Gaynor. And our weekly update on all there is to do around the valley for you to enjoy this weekend. But first, we begin tonight because of recently imposed tariffs and a possible trade war with China. Northwest fruit growers are very nervous. The recent trade tensions prompted the Chinese airline that transport Northwest cherries to China to cancel all flights for this season. But after recent talks, the fruit now appears to be moving again. In an interview with NCW Life News this morning, B.J. Thurlby, president of the Northwest Cherry Growers and Washington State Fruit Commission, says the recent new tariffs just add to an already highly tariffed product.
The tariffs just added another 15% onto an already tariffed product. Our cherries have a 10% entry tax to come in, and then they have what's called a value-added tax, which is 13%, so that's 23%. And now with the tariff that China has now levied on all agricultural products coming in, which is 15%, we now have a total of 38% tax coming into China. And it's going to slow down some sales in China for sure. What we did see the first couple weeks of the California season was they were the inspection group. They're called QSI, but they're the Chinese version of what we have here called APHIS, and they were quarantining every box of cherries that were coming in and holding them for up to 10 days. So that was actually more of an issue than the tariff itself. We know we're going to, lose a few sales because of higher tariffs because it's going to increase the price of the cherries over in China. But if the Chinese government is going to hold the fruit and lock it up and not keep it in cold storage, that pretty much shuts the market down for us. So the good news is that in the last week and a half, our government and the Chinese government have come to some at least agreements that I think people are feeling better about in terms of politicians and policymakers. And so the holdover approach that China was just putting into place has stopped. So that's really good news, that we can ship our fruit in there and not expect it to be held for no apparent reason.
Last year, Northwest states shipped 3 million boxes of cherries to China, which is about 13% of the total crop. Northwest growers expect to harvest about 22 million boxes of cherry this year, down from totals last year. Douglas County Commissioners will be tasked with appointing a new interim sheriff to replace Harvey Jesdahl after the sheriff announced yesterday that he's decided to retire at the end of June instead of serving out the remainder of his term in office. The sheriff notified the media of his intentions to retire earlier than he planned. He told the Wenatchee World that planning for his next venture after retirement is sapping his strength, and he said he did feel that his constituents deserve better. State law does not allow the job to be passed down to Under Sheriff Kevin Morris because he's filed as a candidate for the position against Deputy Leon Leidy. Both are Republicans, so that means that the County Republican Central Committee will make a recommendation to the county commissioners, who then make the appointment of an interim sheriff to serve until the end of the election. Well, Wenatchee and Leavenworth restaurateur Sean Smith is among 5 candidates hoping to succeed Chelan County District 2 Commissioner Keith Gaynor. The Kashmir native owns the Walkabout Grill and says running a successful business since 1997 with 63 employees qualifies him as a good leader and money manager.
Well, I think it has given me a lot of opportunity to be very creative with how to not only start a business, but how to keep a business functioning. The failure rate is very high in small business, even higher in restaurants. And we have figured out a way through the years to continue to be creative and continue to stay productive and stay profitable. So I would hope that I can bring that experience to the county and make it a shirt tail of what we already do, and directing people and using money properly and using common sense in our decisions and help that way.
Smith says he enters the campaign with no preconceived agenda or objectives.
I am a clean slate. I am fresh blood and ready to consider all options that are brought to us. We have a lot of things on the table right now that are important to a lot of people in this valley. You can see that just through the different groups and organizations and the following that they have. Everyone has a passion and everyone wants to go in their direction. Well, it's, a bunch of ducks wandering that are, off on their own trails. So if you have some good leadership up ahead, they can say, okay, we can do this, but let's do it the proper way.
Smith identified the marijuana, Smith says Smith identified the marijuana industry, agriculture, tourism, and housing as issues he sees as priorities going forward. Smith's entire interview will be available on demand at our website at ncwlife.com. Time now for NCW Life's Megan McPherson to fill us in on some of the events going on this first weekend in June.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. The Reverend Peyton's Big Dam Band is performing at the Numerica Performing Arts Center Friday, June 1st. Get your tickets to see this country blues band at numericapac.org. The show starts at 7:30 p.m. The 31st annual Apple Century Bike Ride by Sunrise Rotary is Saturday, June 2nd. The ride is a fully supported recreational ride with water and food stations and sag wagons. It starts at Pybus Public Market, then follows along the scenic Wenatchee River as it winds through Monitor, Kashmir, Dryden, and Peshastin until you reach Leavenworth. The 100-milers will continue on to the Lake Wenatchee Fire Station, where they will turn around for the trip back to Pybus. Scenery includes high sage desert, lush orchards and vineyards, cool and clear river valleys, and tall ponderosa pine forests. On-site registration and pre-registration ride packet pickup will be available on Friday afternoon, June 1st at Cycle Central in downtown Wenatchee, and Saturday, June 2nd prior to the start at Pybus Market. The 21st annual Evergreen Bavarian Bike and Brew Festival is Saturday at Gibbs Organic Farm in Leavenworth. This is your chance to grab your friends, kids, and significant other for a full day of mountain biking, camping, music, beer, and fun for the whole family. Go online to evergreenmtb.org to register. St. Paul's Lutheran Church and School are excited to be hosting the first annual Wenatchee Valley Cornhole Tournament and Family Fun Day on Saturday from 11 to 4. In addition to the tournament, the event will include food and beverage booths, as well as a play area and community activity booths for children. This event will be held on their property at the corner of Washington and Cove Streets. And finally, Leavenworth Spring Wine Walk is Saturday from noon to 5:30. Stroll, sip, and savor through downtown Leavenworth and taste at 20 tasting rooms and special tasting sites. Enjoy a complimentary wine glass, bottle tote, prizes, specialty cheeses from the cheesemonger, live music, and all the charms of Washington's Bavarian Getaway. For more information on this weekend's events, visit ncwlife.com.
Coming up next, 2 men were treated this morning for stab wounds following an altercation in a South Wenatchee neighborhood, and one of them has now been arrested. A Soap Lake man faces charges of vehicular assault following an injury traffic accident in Grant County this morning. The family of a missing Kashmir man is asking for your help to find their missing son, and we'll have our weekly Pet of the Week feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
relationship with your pediatrician is so important. Feeling that sense of trust, that is priceless. I tell everybody about CBCH. I love it there. When I make an appointment, I don't have to take an entire day off. As a working mom, my life is really busy. Family time is everything. That's what we all work towards. And I feel like CBCH respects that.
Todd's a great boss. Sometimes he can be a little intense.
Adam, how about a lunchtime run?
I'd love to, Todd, but I gotta... Oh, Mr. Jones, you made it. I'm glad you can make it. You're really gonna love our lifetime warranty on all new Hondas. Let's walk and talk.
Oh, the running thing? It gets him hustling. I consider myself a great motivator.
Welcome back. In another news, 2 men were treated this morning for stab wounds following an altercation in a South Wenatchee neighborhood. Chelan County Sheriff's Chief Criminal Deputy Jason Reinfeld says it happened in the pre-dawn hours at a home located in the 100 block of Boudry Street.
While a deputy was responding to the area, he was approached by a male, different than the reporting party, who said he was also stabbed. Deputies were able to get to both residences, and both the stabbing victims, one stabbed in the stomach and one stabbed in the hand, were transported to the Confluence Hospital emergency room. At this point, we believe that the neighborhood's safe and we know who the suspect is. However, we're still conducting interviews right now with victims and witnesses.
An update to that story now. Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett reports this afternoon that the 2 men involved were a 61-year-old man and a 21-year-old Alexander Al-Hamadi, both of Wenatchee. Both men suffered wounds, the 61-year-old to the stomach and Al-Hamadi to his hand. The only weapon found at the scene was a sword. Both men initially claimed to be victims, but after further investigation, it was determined that Al-Hamadi stabbed the 61-year-old in the stomach with that sword. It's unknown how Al-Hamadi sustained the injury to his hand. After being released medically, he was booked into Chelan County Regional Justice Center for assault in the first degree. Chelan County detectives are continuing to interview witnesses and investigate both scenes. A Soap Lake man faces charges of vehicular assault following an injury traffic accident in Grant County this morning. A state patrol report says 40-year-old Benjamin M. Hasse was impaired when he rear-ended a vehicle stopped in a construction zone on Highway 17 about a mile south of Rocky Ford Creek. The second vehicle was shoved into a third vehicle as a result of the impact, causing injuries to both drivers. They are identified as 52-year-old Richard D. Brinkley of Yelm and 31-year-old Aaron K. Barnes of Soap Lake. Both were transported to Samaritan Hospital for treatment. Hasse has been cited for driving under the influence, and possible criminal charges are also pending. Well, the family of a missing Kashmir man is asking for your help. 19-year-old Sheldon Shelby House has been missing since he left the house last week. His family says House has been having difficulty dealing with a recent breakup of a serious relationship. House is 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs around 120 pounds. He was wearing blue jeans and a black and red sweater. His family says the last they heard, he was spotted around the Thousand Trails area near Lake Wenatchee. If anyone has information regarding the missing teen, please call Rivercom at 509-663-9911 or House's stepfather, Russ Gray, at 509-237-8790. Time now for our weekly Pet of the Week feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Today, NC Life's Megan McPherson introduces us to Aztec the dog.
Hey guys, Megan McPherson here with the NCW Life channel, and we're here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and we're also here with Aztec. Renee, tell us about Aztec.
Well, Aztec he's a pit bull mix, so we don't really know completely what he is, but he we do know he's a really friendly guy. He loves to smile, he loves to play, he's just got a lot of pizzazz. He loves to play with other dogs. He got along well when testing with our shelter cat, which is a good sign, but he'll probably need some introduction and appropriate behavior, just on how to live life with a cat, which I'm sure, like, I'm a cat owner, I feel like even people do need that. So, but yeah, he's just a really sweet, good boy, got a really good demeanor. He's just a great guy.
And if someone wants to adopt Aztec, what should they do?
They should definitely come down and meet him. If you have other dogs at the home, you can bring them down as well. We have a couple of really great get acquaintance yards, as you know, that you can kind of see how your dog and Aztec would be together. And then if you find out you're the perfect fit, fill out some paperwork. He's neutered, he's got his shots and his microchips, and he is ready to go home with somebody today.
Do you have anything to say, Aztec?
He's like, what is this? It's like, can I eat it?
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This is Megan McPherson, and that's our Pet of the Week from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, your sports update with Eric Granstrom and our feature story tonight. That and much more still to come right here on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
My story starts out with, I was addicted to meth for over 25 years, and I decided that's it, that I was no longer ever going to touch the drug ever again. Goodwill was the first place that I came to. The skills that are given to me, I will be able to succeed every day that I'm there. So that gave me the confidence that I can do this job. When you donate to Goodwill, you're helping people just like me. I love my work. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Thursday. The Caribou Trail League All-Conference baseball selections are heavy with Cashmere Bulldogs. Cashmere's Tyler Chipman, Garrett Tarver, Hudson White, and Daniel Wright were all first-team selections. Also making the first team are Chelan's Connor Wilson, Colt Corrigan, and Quinn Stamp. Second-team selections are the Bulldogs' Jarrett Koonsman and Brooks Elliott, with the Goats having 3, Drake Bird, Brecken Sporsine, and Gage Estes. Cashmere's Cross Knoll is the Caribou Trail League Player of the Year and Bulldog coach Jeff Carlson Coach of the Year. Next up, the all-conference softball selections, starting with the Columbia Basin Big Nine. Eastmont's Riley Cox and Caitlin Duncan were first-team selections. Also landing on the first team for Wenatchee were Missy Bennett, Riley Phillips, Kristen Sanford, and Kaylee Sanford. Wildcats making the second team all-conference were Kenzie Young and Emily Craddock. A couple Panthers on the second squad, Olivia Ramirez and Michaela Michael. Moses Lake's Gina Skinner is the league MVP. Wenatchee's Kristen Sanford is the Offensive Player of the Year. Chief Savannah Ashley, the Defensive Player of the Year, and the Coach of the Year, Mike Hoffines of Moses Lake. Now on to the softball honors for the Caribou Trail League. First team all-conference honors go to Cascade's Kaija Lovelady and True Merriman, along with Chelan's Ashley Oswald and Lexi Gleesman. Selected to the second team, the Lady Goats were Sierra Shively and Taylor Boykin. Second team for the Kodiaks, Andrea Sorensen and Colby West. Cascade Sarah Paulson, Player of the Year, while Okanagan's Darren Radke's the Coach of the Year. Sportsmanship Award goes to the Omak Pioneers. For the second consecutive night, Seattle's bullpen failed as Texas scored 4 runs in the 7th and won 7-6 at Safeco Field last night. Ryan Cook, Mark Zepchinski, and Wanda Casio allowed 3 runs or make that 3 walks and 4 runs on 3 hits in the 7th to squander a 5-3 lead. Nelson Cruz scored Ben Gamble in the 9th, but Seattle could get no closer as it lost for the 2nd straight night. 6 Mariner pitchers allowed a total of 7 walks on the night. Manager Scott Service says that's always going to bite you in the end.
You know, last couple nights, you know, it had really been our strength for such a long stretch of games here. You know, our bullpen has just kind of gotten away from us a little bit. And I think it's, you know, the guys, it's been the strike throwing. You know, it's been the walks that have gotten us a little bit, and then it creates big innings and a lot of traffic out there. So, you know, not our night tonight. You know, we've been playing really good ball. You know, getting a little sloppy with the walks and some of the other stuff, which has hurt us here. And you got to give Texas some credit. They're not giving up. They're battling. They got a lot of young players trying to prove themselves, and they've gotten some big hits against us.
Starter James Paxton had an off night, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits in 5 innings with 4 walks. Service said even still, he left with the lead and hoped he could use different guys out of the bullpen to wrap up the win.
You know, tonight, for instance, Eddie Diaz, you know, try to give him a night down, you know, try to stay away from James Pazos. We've been riding him very hard lately. And really Paxton, you know, Paxton's been at an unbelievable May for us all month, and we have ridden him very hard. You know, looking at the 5th inning tonight and where it was at, you know, the leadoff hitter in that inning, it's a 13-pitch at bat, which is that bat is going on. I'm not feeling very good about things because the pitch count is starting to and then he walks them, and before you know it, they got the bases loaded. And to his credit, you know, he dug way deep and got through it. You know, so coming out of that inning, I think it was 32, 33 pitches he threw that inning. Thought it was best to pull back on him a little bit and go to the pen. So it didn't work out tonight, but you know, trust those guys down there. They've been doing a good job for us for an extended period. It just hasn't worked out the last couple nights.
Seattle and Texas wrap up the 4-game series tonight, 7-10. Mike Minor facing Wade LeBlanc. Go Mariners. That's Sports News. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, take it away.
Thank you, Eric. The Wenatchee Downtown Association, in conjunction with the Port of Chelan County, hosted the biannual Downtown Possibilities Tour on Wednesday. NCW Life's Dan Kuntz tagged along and filed this report.
The tour began with the recently renovated Metropolitan Building at the corner of 2nd and Wenatchee Avenue. It's the new home of the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce on the main floor and Goodfellow Brothers Construction on the top floor. Local developer Rory Turner is optimistic about downtown's future.
The downtown market is starting to, in my mind, heat up. We're getting a lot of demand. I don't want to go on about this, but the commitment that Goodfellow Brothers made to the downtown and the amount, and it's too bad that's not on the tour because it's extraordinary. It's really, really, really cool. And that's just part of what's going on downtown. So you're going to see more of that. We've already talked to some other folks that want to have larger offices move downtown. We've seen more demand for restaurants of various sizes. I think it's happening for those of us that have been around. I know Alice and I sat on a board in the WDA back in the early 90s, scratching our heads going, how are we going to make this work, you know? But it's really coming together for all, and it's because of all the hard work that a lot of people have done over the years. So really, really proud of that.
After a brief stop at the Barden Building, we visited the 9,400 square foot Mills Brothers building. Owner Sam Mills told us it's a big space for just one business.
It's a pretty big space, so it might possibly have to be somebody, you know, a couple, 3 different types of businesses that would be complementary to each other, could play off each other.
The owners of the Midtown building at the corner of Orondo and Wenatchee Avenue showed us what that building would look like once the windows on the 2nd floor are returned to their original size. Big new windows were the main feature when Steve Robinson of the Pybus Public Market gave us a sneak peek at the nearly completed remodel of the Events Center. Our 7th and final stop was the Seattle First Bank building that was recently vacated when Washington Federal moved to their new campus on 9th Street. It's a large building without something many buildings that size in downtown Wenatchee have, and that's visible support columns. Combining that with its corner location and ample parking has developer Chris Martin thinking it's an ideal mixed-use building.
Our initial visioning would like to have somewhat of a holistic approach where we have, we have some sort of office type stuff in the upstairs type companies, and we have possibly some classrooms or something like that in the basement. And then to bring it all together, ideally some sort of food service in this area, if it's a full space or half of it, would bring it all together so that everything kind of supports itself within the building and then within downtown also.
We will be featuring highlights of the Downtown Possibilities Tour on an upcoming episode of the NCW Life magazine and on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley in the coming weeks. Dan Kuntz, NCW Life News.
We'll be back with your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Lakeshland Mailboxes is a small place with a lot to offer. Job one is shipping and receiving from A to Z. They pack it, they label it, they ship it. But did you know we also offer notary service, online computer access, legal forms, copies, greeting cards, and of course, mailboxes. Schland Mailboxes, everything you need in one small package.
And time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast, and let's get right to it as we take a look at our surface loop right now. Showers and thunderstorms all around central Washington, parts of Idaho into Montana. We've been seeing some dark clouds, some lightning all day long today. Here's our loop at 5 o'clock today. As we move into Friday, or I should say 10 o'clock tonight rather, still some of those lingering showers around, although most of them will have moved well into Montana by the time we move into tonight at 10 o'clock, clearing out from the west too, which is always good news. Take a look at that Friday. It looks great. Isobars a little bit close together right over the Wenatchee area, and that could kick up some breezes for us by Friday afternoon, but temperatures will be on the mild side for Friday, and that'll be a beautiful Saturday as well. No rain shower activity in the Pacific Northwest, and we will see temperatures on Saturday approaching 80 degrees. But with that heat and the area of low pressure up in the Gulf of Alaska moving down on us, by the time we get into Sunday, we could see a return of showers and thunderstorms, especially by late in the day on Sunday, with cooler temperatures and maybe even some strong gusty winds at times, because notice those lines going through Wenatchee, those isobars, very tightly packed, and that usually means a windy scenario. Let's take a look at your forecast now, and tonight 51 degrees, 73 and windy for Friday, 80 for Saturday, and then about a 20 to 30% chance for showers on Sunday. We'll cool off a lot on Monday, Tuesday 73, Wednesday your high temperature, a very mild 77 degrees. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.
Walk and Roll Wenatchee's Asian Express is fast, fresh food. Wenatchee Roll's new Poke Hawaiian Fresh Salad Bar is the best. Fresh greens, fresh seafood, and handmade sauces. You know what you want. At Walk and Roll, create your own style meal. Hot off the line chicken, beef, and veggie plates. Lunch or dinner to match your appetite. Fresh sushi, hot entrees, Poke Fresh Salad Bar. It's new. It's Walk and Roll Wenatchee, fast, fresh food your way. Located on 5th and Mission.
Hi, I'm candidate Bryn Sherrill, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.